Hi, I'm Ryan Scott and welcome to my kitchen. I'm going to show you my version of an old school classic, my mama's style, but instead my way that you can do every single day of the week or do your own interpretation of it. I'm going to do breaded chicken cutlets with potato puree, a little slaw that has some cabbage, apples, and it's kind of naughty. A pancetta vinaigrette, so sweet and delicious. We cook off some bacon, some pancetta, add it with a little bit of balsamic, some apples. It's one of the best go-to dishes that I love to do and I want to share with you. I'm gonna go ahead and chop up a green apple and a red apple. I like the tartness from the green and I like the apple presence of the red. You don't want to slice these two ahead of time because they'll oxidize and you won't have that nice crisp crunch that you're gonna get from the apples. So this is definitely a last minute thing to do. You can do red cabbage, you can do scallions in here, you can do chives. You know, mix it up a little bit. If you can't get pancetta or fine pancetta, which is basically cured bacon, you can use bacon too. Now we're gonna take the cutlets and make the cutlets. Now these are boneless, skinless chicken thighs, which I like the most. I find these lean, and if you overcook them, they're the most forgiving out of anything. Chicken breasts really, truly dry out. So what we're gonna do is make a little mixture here. 3 breading stations. I know this sounds like a lot, but once you get this down, you can do this for beef, pork, chicken, anything you want. So I have onion powder and garlic powder here that I'm mixing with all-purpose flour. Now I take a little bit of water and a couple eggs. This is gonna be the second stage because the egg needs something to hold on to. So the flour is a binder, the breadcrumbs jump onto the egg. They have to have something to hold on to when they're jumping in there. Want to make sure that we season our chicken. Salt and pepper all the way around, okay? We season our batter, season our flour, season our breadcrumbs. Seems like a lot, but you ever had flavorless chicken? It's not good. Everything is seasoned. Our breading stage is ready. Okay, now here we go. What you do, you take the thigh here, and we roll it just right in the flour. Now we're not deep frying this. We're taking these cutlets and just lightly simmery frying in like really shallow oil. Okay, now it's all shook off, nothing left. Go right into the egg. Now you're doing the flour because the egg needs something to hold on to. If you just took straight chicken thigh without anything to grab onto, it would slide right off and it'd be clumpy and the breadcrumbs would be uneven. And that's not what we want. So now the egg is holding on because of the flour. And we're gonna just take this guy and set it right into the panko. And when you set it into the panko, what I like to do is I like to just dress it. I like to toss it over the top. Same thing on this side. And you don't want it too bready, okay? Meaning the fact that I'm just gonna press it. What stays on, and what doesn't, it'll go on to the next one. All right, so now it's time to cook our chicken. I'm not deep frying, I'm shallow frying, which means I have just a little bit of oil there. We're gonna cook them all the way through on the stovetop. Not deep fried, not in the oven, just low and slow here. Always remember, when adding things to a hot pan, add it away from you. You can see my oil is already hot, but it's not so hot that it's burning the breadcrumbs immediately. It's nice, I would say medium-low heat. Put them in and away from you when you set them inside here. And also remember, never overcrowd the pan, because when you overcrowd the pan, it doesn't allow it to have oxygen. That way the breadcrumbs don't get caramelized. So you don't want too many of them in the pan. I think 3 are gonna be just perfect. And if you have extras, freeze them and use them for another dinner. You can see here, I'm getting caramelization all the way around the chicken. Low, shallow fry. Oh, this is so good. So good. You don't want this too high because you need to evenly cook the chicken all the way through. So let these guys go. I'm gonna turn down my heat just a drop and let them finish cooking. At the same time, I have pancetta that I have cooking here. And I just took the pancetta and made it nice and crispy, and I'm gonna save the fat because it's gonna go in my vinaigrette. Then over here, I took some red potatoes, peeled them, brought them to a boil, and then I added some salt. I'm just gonna make a simple little mash. It goes on the bottom with the chicken cutlets. It goes with the pancetta apple coleslaw. And yes, I'm salivating as I'm saying this. So let's make the vinaigrette. Let's get the mashed potatoes going over here. All right, so the second part of this dish, besides the chicken that I can just hear over here that sounds so good, is the pancetta vinaigrette and my mashed potatoes. We're gonna make our mashed potatoes with no milk and no cream, with just a little bit of butter. What I do is, I reserve the liquid that comes with the potatoes. So I go here, and I use the water to emulsify the potatoes. Now this is salted potato water, so this is delicious. I always wonder why people throw this away. This is where all the flavor's at. So I'm gonna reserve all this water to make our mash, and then I'm gonna add my potatoes right inside the bowl. Oh, look at this. See that? It's like Happy Land of potatoes. First things first, I just let the butter sit in there real quick, and then I just mash them with a fork. And I like the chunky consistency because the chicken has good crunch on it, the salad has good crunch. So the potatoes are kind of like a warm buttered potato salad. I want to kind of thin out the consistency a little bit, so I'm going to use the water that I cooked the potatoes in to where it makes them nice and creamy and all the way through. Pancetta vinaigrette, bacon vinaigrette. Remember, you can change the meat. You can put crispy prosciutto, salami. Remember, this is kind of going to add some fat to the dish, also some acid with the apples, the onions, and the cabbage. It's going to be a really kind of a new age coleslaw, per se. So what we're going to do is take our hot pancetta and all the bacon fat too. Add this all on the bottom here. Just like so. Then we're going to add some balsamic vinegar. You can change this champagne, rice wine, any kind of vinegar you have, something with a nice tartness to it. Apple would be really good with this. So I've got balsamic vinegar in there. I'm going to add olive oil inside too. You know the ratio, people usually say 3 to 1. I would go actually maybe 1 to 1, 2 to 1 the most. You want a lot of tang from that vinegar in here. Then you take a little salt, a little pepper, okay? And now I have some parsley here, some basil, and some shallots. I'll put those right inside that vinaigrette. Mix this guy up. This will be a dressing you can put literally on top of the cutlets. It'll be really, really good. Now what we're gonna do is just take literally our onions, our apples, our cabbage, and we're gonna toss this all in the dressing. Man, that vinaigrette's good. Right, the slaw is delicious. It's crisp. The pancetta is so good in there, but the sweetness of the apples was really, really nice. Let's finish plating this dish. Man, this makes me so happy. So we got our potatoes, got our slaw, we got our chicken. I'm a big fan of family style. It's one less dish I have to wash. Let's take our potatoes. Nice and buttery, have some texture and body to them, which is really good. We're just gonna shingle our chicken, just like so, on top of that. We're gonna take a little lemon, because you need brightness. You know, when you get fish and chips or you get fried chicken, a little lemon is always nice with it. Squeeze a little lemon right on top, just like so. Then we're gonna take our coleslaw, and we're gonna dress it just like this. And you have chicken cutlets, our version, a new version that you can do every single day, not just a holiday. Little buttered potatoes and a pancetta apple slaw with onions and cabbage and all this deliciousness. It was a great dish. I'm excited to eat it.